How I lost 20 pounds, what actually worked for me. Hey baddies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Callie and I make videos about fitness, fashion, and travel and lifestyle videos. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit subscribe as well as the notification bell. So today we're gonna be talking about how I lost 20 pounds. I used to be overweight, can you believe that? And so I'm not going to be doing any gatekeeping around here. I'm going to give you actionable steps that you can take to start making changes in your life today. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about my own fitness journey. And unfortunately, I came from a family that definitely had very fixed mindset tendencies. And unfortunately, I walked away with the impression that our bodies are just how they are and there isn't really a lot that we can do to change them. For example, if you're overweight, you're just meant to be overweight. There's nothing that you can really significantly do about that. It doesn't matter what your diet looks like. It doesn't matter what your exercise routine is like. You're just kind of stuck with the body that you have and you're just born into that body. So growing up, my parents sort of gave me a lot of messaging about this. They would say, oh, that person can't help that they're overweight. They probably eat less than we do, you know, and they're just overweight because of genetics. That was sort of the story that I was told. And for a long time, I believed that. I didn't think that there was anything that I could do about my situation. I thought I was just going to be, 10 pounds overweight forever and that I didn't have any agency or I didn't have any ability to change that. Then as I got older, I started to notice that certain people that I knew, were losing weight. They were getting more fit or they were getting less fit. For example, people that played football in high school, they would sometimes gain 30, 40 pounds and then become overweight. And it was just kind of confusing to me because these people were, athletes for so long and then seeing them later, oh, well, now you're overweight. So what happened? And kind of trying to understand that and just see that yes, your choices do matter. And yes, you can change your body. You can change your health outcomes. And I think that this mindset is really dangerous, especially for people that have certain health conditions, such as maybe pre-diabetes. If you believe in a fixed mindset and that it's just genetic and there's nothing that you can do about it, then, there's nothing that you can really do to improve your situation. Where if you take more agency and you say, no, I do have significant control into my health outcomes and also my body and how it looks and how it performs, then that's going to be a more positive mindset that's going to lend itself to you making positive changes in your life. After I came to this realization, naturally I started to get more curious. Okay, well, what are some things that I can do in order to improve my physical fitness in my body? So what I originally did is I just purchased a PDF online that explained a cookie cutter fitness routine that I could just follow. And that ended up working really well for me. And now I actually have my own ebook that you can download from my website, which I'll link down below, which is a really great tool to help you get started. If you're not really sure how much you want to invest in this yet, if you're not really sure if you can even stick to any kind of diet for any amount of time, or if you can even get to the gym once a week, something kind of low investment, such as an ebook that just explains what you need to do might be a great option for you. And so I did that. I ended up getting some pretty decent results and I was pretty happy with it and I felt encouraged and empowered. So what I did is I hired a personal trainer to work with me one-on-one to consult me on what's going to be optimal for my body to achieve my goals. And so I ended up working one-on-one with someone and achieving some really amazing goals with that person. And now I actually do one-on-one fitness coaching as well. So if you're looking to have somebody there to guide you and help you achieve your fitness goals, I'll leave a link to my services down below. And I'd love to get started working with you today. Here are my before and after weight loss results. Okay, so if you are ready for this fitness journey, the first thing that you need to do is decide that you're worth it. Decide that you can make changes. Don't have a fixed mindset. Believe that you can invest in yourself and that you can see some returns. And for some of you, that's just going to look like a mindset shift. For some of you, that might look like, going to visit your priest and getting prayed on. For some of you, that might look like, going and praying for several hours. It really is going to depend on each person and what feels right to you. Yet you do need to decide that you do want to change your life and you're willing to make sacrifices and you're willing to make changes in your life. For example, You know, if you eat 5 bags of Cheetos every day, you might not be able to eat all 5 of those bags of Cheetos. Maybe you can eat 1 bag of Cheetos. Can you get by with just a snack bag of Cheetos? You know, what sort of changes are you willing to make in order to get results? And the amount of changes that you make are going to be proportional to the amount of results that you're going to see. Next, I want to talk about goal setting. So it's really important to set up some SMART goals. SMART, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals. So basically, an example of that would be, I want to lose 20 pounds over the next 6 months. That's pretty realistic, SMART, time-bound, achievable. So that would be a good goal. And you're going to want to have something like that. You could do it in terms of inches off your waist. You could do it in terms of pounds of fat. You could do it in terms of body fat percentage. You could do it based off dress size. There's a lot of different goals that you could have. One of the easiest ones is just a weight goal. Yet I don't want people to feel boxed in if maybe that's triggering for you. And now we're going to move on to progress tracking. So if you can't measure it, how can you improve it? So there's a number of different things that I like to do in order to track my progress. So one of them is taking my weight once a week. At the same time, I'll also take various measurements such as chest, waist, hip measurements, booty measurement, different measurements of different body parts that I'm interested in tracking, as well as progress photos. So looking at this data over time, you can get a more holistic picture of how your body's changing and how you're responding to your fitness and diet programming. And this naturally brings us into diet. Remember, you cannot outwork a bad diet. Diet is honestly 80% of results. This is the most important thing to get right. If you can't do anything on this list, or you can only do one thing, I would pick diet for sure. And I know this one's going to be hard for some people. So honestly, what I would recommend that you do is try to figure out what you're eating every week. So take photos or weigh out everything that you're eating and figure out, okay, I'm eating 200 grams of rice and 100 grams of chicken for dinner. You know, just weigh everything out, take photos of what you're eating, and try to calculate using MyFitnessPal or one of those calorie tracking apps. Try to figure out how much calories you are eating every single day and average it out over the week. So let's say you're eating 3,000 calories a week. Okay, so if that's where your body's at and you're not gaining and you're not losing weight, then your maintenance is probably 3,000 calories. So what I'd recommend you do if you want to lose 1 pound a week is subtract 500 from that. So now our goal for next week is to eat 2,500 calories. And if you want to lose 2 pounds a week, then reduce that number by 1,000. So if I'm eating 3,000, now next week I'm just going to eat 2,000 calories every day. So just reduce it by 1,000. And then, so what you're going to want to do is measure yourself every week and just make sure that you are reaching closer and closer to your goal. So if you try eating 2,500 calories and you do that for several weeks and you've gained a pound every week, then maybe we need to drop that down to 2,000 or 1,500. Just do some experimenting and figure out what is working for your body. In order to create a diet, I do make custom diets with my one-on-one coaching program. I also have diet and recipe books on my website. If that's not interesting to you, you could also use ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, I would like a diet for a female who is trying to lose X amount of weight, and I want a 1,500 calorie diet that is 20% fat, 20% carb, and 40% protein. Can you make that diet? And ChatGPT will make you a diet. A lot of times we're gonna have the diet broken up into fats, so that could be avocado, almonds, things like that. For carbs, that's gonna be rice, that's gonna be potatoes, sweet potatoes, those sorts of things. Quinoa would also be in that bucket. And then there's gonna be 2 different types of proteins. So there's fattier proteins, that's gonna be whole eggs, ground beef, salmon, and then lean protein is going to be egg white and chicken breast, and a number of other things such as white fish. From each category, you can generally swap things around, but each meal is generally going to have all 3 of those components in it. And from there, you can kind of make some trades. For example, you can trade chicken breast for egg whites, or you can trade ground beef for salmon. And ChatGPT can help you do that and help you figure out what you can swap if you don't want to be eating the same thing every day. So that's what I would do in terms of diet. Now we're gonna talk about exercise. This is probably the second most important. If you are sedentary all day, and let's say you track your steps and you're only getting 3,000 a day, try to bump that up by 2,000. Okay, last week I walked 3,000 steps, today I'm gonna walk 5,000. And then once you get used to working 5,000, okay, can I push it to 7,000? And keep going up until you can reach around 10,000 steps comfortably each day. Maybe that looks like taking the stairs up to your floor to work, or maybe that looks like walking to the grocery store. There's a number of different ways that you can achieve that. Just try to increase whatever you were doing before until you hit around 10,000 minimum. The next thing is a exercise program. You are going to want to follow a well-structured program. Some examples of that would be my ebook, my one-on-one fitness coaching, or you could also ask ChatGPT if you don't want to invest in some sort of, well-rounded program. You could just ask ChatGPT to make you one. Hey ChatGPT, I'm a woman and I'm this many years old and I'm looking to do a workout program 4 days a week, and my goal is to achieve an hourglass figure while losing fat. You could say something along those lines and ChatGPT will help you make a program. Keep in mind this is just an AI program, so it might not be as accurate or as tailored to you as working with somebody one-on-one that knows what they're talking about actually would be. It is an option for you though. Next up is water. Water is super important. You're gonna want to drink at least 3 liters of water a day. Now, if you're a little shorter or a little taller, it might be more or less, depending on your activity level. There are various calculators online that can help you determine how much water you should be drinking every day. I tend to go for around 3 liters of water though. And remember, you cannot build or maintain muscle without water, because water is part of what muscles are made of. So that's the reasoning behind that. And it will also help with your skin and your health in general. So I definitely encourage everybody to drink water. Now we're gonna talk about sleep. Sleep is super important. Most people need around 8 hours of sleep every night, but some people, they need a little bit less, maybe 7, or maybe a little bit more, maybe 9 hours of sleep a night. Try to figure out what your body specifically needs by experimenting a little bit. I'm gonna talk about, no phone in bed. I know this is really hard for a lot of people. I know we all like to lay in bed and scroll and look at videos and such. However, I am gonna suggest that you put your phone in the other room if you can, get a separate alarm clock before you go to bed, because otherwise you're just gonna be scrolling on your phone, you're gonna be looking at the blue light, and it's gonna be keeping you up, keeping your mind activated when we're really trying to get our body to shut down. So we wanna limit blue light, so that means no TV screens or any sort of other screens as well, at least an hour before bed. Also, another thing is make sure that you have blackout curtains or some sort of curtains to sort of block out the light from the outside. I also sleep with a face mask. That really helps. Same with noise. Some people really like a noise canceling machine. I really like to wear sleep earplugs. Those definitely help me sleep through the night. Now we're going to talk about temperature regulation when you sleep. A lot of people have different ideas about what temperature they like. I've heard that 65 degrees is optimal for most people. I like it a little bit colder, so 65 might even be too hot for me. But yeah, you do want to keep a consistent cool temperature. I know we're running into the summer season. It's going to be a little hot for some people, so if you can, try to get a window unit or some sort of AC system, even if it's one of those small battery operated ones. That are made for camping, just to try to help you sleep a little bit more through the night. The next thing is your sleep schedule. Try to go to sleep at a consistent time and wake up at a consistent time. I know it's hard because sometimes we like to go to concerts, we like to go out and see our friends at night, and sometimes that can push our bedtime back and then we want to sleep in. So I would say that's okay. It's not really optimal for your sleep schedule. Yeah, social life is important too, However, when we do that, we don't want to sleep more than 2 hours past our regular wake-up time. So if we normally wake up at 8 a.m., we don't generally want to sleep past 10 a.m. because that can disrupt our sleep schedule and make falling asleep the next night even harder. Now we're going to talk about nutrition as it relates to sleep. We don't want to be eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. Unfortunately, that can be activating for some people. We definitely want to avoid caffeine within 8 hours before going to sleep. and you don't want to eat a heavy meal before sleep because that will impact your digestion negatively. I also want to talk about exercise in relation to sleep. It's generally not good to do a heavy workout within 2 hours of trying to go to sleep. It's just too activating and too stimulating for our body, especially if you're going to be taking caffeine before your workout. It's usually better to try to exercise in the morning. However, if you can't get to it, then I think sleeping an extra hour or 2 hours is better than going and doing a workout an hour before bed and then trying to rush to fall asleep. It's just not really going to work out. So maybe try to figure out the sleep first and then add the workout slowly as you find time. Another thing is, if you can't sleep, get out of bed and do something else. So if you're trying for 30 minutes, you just can't fall asleep, maybe go sit on the couch in the living room for a little bit and just kind of do something else. Don't go on your phone, maybe read a little bit. Don't do anything too stimulating, but do try to break up, the trying. Do try to break things up. Another thing that sometimes works is spin around in your bed. So put your head where your feet normally are and try to sleep that way. And then go back to the regular way where your head is on your pillow and see if that helps, because that can sometimes reset any loops that the mind is in. Now we're going to talk about gut health. You have to, keep things moving through your gut. So probably the most important is going to be probiotics. So this can come from things like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, any of those fermented foods. Those are super good for your digestion. So definitely try to add some of that to your diet. I really like sauerkraut. I always try to have that every other day at least. Now we're going to talk about prebiotics. So these are things that the probiotics will consume. So this is going to include things like oatmeal, seeds, apples, those sorts of foods that probiotics will consume. Try to add some of that to your diet as well. That's really also going to help with your digestion. We're going to talk about recovery. This is unfortunately one of the most neglected parts of any health and fitness routine. So stretching is super important. That's going to give you increased flexibility and reduce your chance of injury. Now we're going to talk about foam rolling. This is going to reduce your muscle soreness and also help with circulation. I always try to roll out my glutes and my hamstrings, especially because foam rolling is definitely going to help those areas to grow and make sure that I'm maximizing the work that I'm putting in the gym. Last, we're going to talk about saunas or jacuzzis help increase blood flow and relax your muscles to support muscle recovery. So definitely try to do sauna at least once a week. I do sauna 5 to 6 times a week. I love it. I'm obsessed. Saunas also can help with sleep. If you're sensitive to temperature, using a sauna can help your body to feel tired at night. So that might be a good investment if that's something that you struggle with. All right, and that's pretty much it on everything that I did in order to lose 20 pounds. We talked about diet, exercise, we talked about recovery, we talked about nutrition, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff today. I really hope that you found some inspiration, found some ideas, found some education that's really gonna help you. I hope you found some information that's gonna help you start your fitness routine and start making healthy choices in your life today. And remember, if you're interested in my ebooks or one-on-one coaching, I put those links down below. Let me know if you're interested. I'd love to help you get started with a fitness routine today. If you found this video helpful at all, please give me a like. Also, give me a comment down below. I really want to know what your thoughts are. What were the most impactful parts of this video for you? What things are you going to implement in your fitness routine today? And as always, baddies, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you are new here, please hit subscribe as well as the notification bell. Until the next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.